Thank you for your continued interest in the bipolar and order concepts. This time we want to talk about knowing the tools that it takes to lower the intensity, to try to make the more extended and higher levels of mania and longer period and deeper levels of depression go away. We want to have a tool set that we can use to do that. So part of that tool set is knowing when it's time to lower the intensity. Remember, we've already talked about introspection. We've already talked about knowing that our behaviors are kind of telling us when it's time, and also knowing when we're inside the comfort zone and slightly outside the comfort zone. As we get outside the comfort zone, the clock starts ticking. We only have so long before we better turn that down. And if it gets stronger, we better turn it down right away. The other thing we have to know is how to lower that intensity. And that is the toolkit that we need to have. Now, avoiding triggering the opposite state is a really important concept. We don't want to be in a depression and do something that's going to drive us into a mania. And that happens all too often. Sometimes medicine triggers us into another state. Sometimes the efforts that we use or some of the tools we use drive us into the opposite state. And we have to be kind of careful about that. We need to find some tools that lower the intensity without causing the opposite problem. But what we do is we break it into 3 different kinds of tools. We have what we call free tools. They have no cost involved. They're basically pretty easy to do. And unfortunately, they're not always as effective as we wish they were, because if they were, they'd be the only tools we ever used. But we want to give ourselves a chance to at least develop the abilities and the skill sets around those free tools. And free tools can be just about anything, from going for a walk to hanging out with a friend or meditating or doing yoga, or there's literally hundreds of them available to us. In our full course, we help each other brainstorm. We've got such a huge list of different free tools that there is definitely no shortage of tools out there. The next step we want to look at are cost tools. These are things like medicine and therapy and vacation time and massages and maybe some special dietary changes or something. These are things that I have to either pay for, or in the course of medicine, even if it's free, I'm going to have some side effects around it. So we want to make sure that we've got the cost tools already thought out in place before we need them. Now, I'm not talking about the daily tools. If your doctor's got you on a daily regimen and this is my maintenance, I'm talking about a special time when I want to have more tools. I might talk to my doctor about a higher dose or maybe a different tool altogether during these special times when I'm supposed to lower the intensity. The maintenance dose are meant to try to keep me stable, but when I'm not stable, I might have to also take the maintenance dose, but maybe something else on top of it. We have a bunch of different tools at our disposal, and in our brainstorming, we try to separate those out to things that are physical, things like going for a walk or getting a massage or swimming or running or jumping or dancing, things that we can ingest. Now, obviously, medicine is an ingestible tool, but so are herbs and food, and I smell out in nature, or I smell special incense and things. There's all kinds of things that I'm bringing in. If you think about it, I'm bringing in from outside through my eyes movies and TV shows and listening to music. All of those would be kind of ingestible tools. Mental tools are things that I do inside my brain. Things that I do like brain games, and meditation would be one of those also. Exercises for my mind that can help me learn how to focus my mind and change its pattern that it's having. Social tools are kind of obvious. I can be hanging out with friends, but there's a big difference between hanging out with this group of friends and hanging out with that group of friends. Being one-on-one with somebody versus being in a group. There's all kinds of variations of social tools. We need to try to get a figure out on which ones work best for us. Spiritual tools are sometimes the strongest. Obviously, people talk about meditation as a spiritual tool, but it could also be considered a mental tool, even an emotional kind of tool. But there are all kinds of things like talking to my clergy or doing study or praying. All those kind of things might fall under social tools or spiritual tools. So you want to put together the best toolkit you can with all of those kind of things in mind. Now there's so much more I would love to share with you, but remember, we're trying to keep these into very brief lessons for you. So if you would like some more information, contact me and we can figure out how to get you quite a bit more information available for you. So thank you again for your interest in these concepts. I know from working with thousands of people that these concepts can and will change your life dramatically if you'll give them a chance. And most importantly, you need to see how all of them fit together in order for that to work. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.